Went to buy straight wigs. Why? All these wigs for what? You're not gonna sell nothing. What? That's not what we doing. We go to work, get us a job, and we work. We don't sell nothing.
Hello, amazing viewer. I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok. Before we go further, let us watch this.
So my daughter thought it was okay to spend her first paycheck on all these wigs and bundles. The whole check. You ain't think to give your daddy not $1 on the rent, light bill, nothing. You just went to buy straight wigs. Why? All these wigs for what? You're not gonna sell nothing. What? That's not what we doing. We go to work, get us a job, and we work. We don't sell nothing. Okay. What is wrong with you? How much does this cost? Your first paycheck? Huh? Now how you gonna eat? How you gonna eat?
I'm gonna eat.
How you gonna eat?
The food that's in the refrigerator.
No. That's the reason you got a job. To fend for yourself, you gotta provide for yourself. I'm done doing that. You 15 now.
Okay.
I'm done doing that. You 15 now. All these wigs for what? For what?
Why are you sitting here?
Now you don't even got no money for no. You don't got enough money for nobody to even put them on your head.
I don't want to put them on my head. I'm trying to make money from them.
Ain't no making no money. You gonna make your money working at White Castles like you been doing. See what I'm saying?
You got me messed up.
Now all these wigs. Now I'm finna take them back. And I'm keeping the money. I'm keeping the bread.
What you gonna keep?
All the money. All this. You got 7 wigs sitting right here for what?
Before we go further, allow me to address people who think that such clips are skits. Coming from a family that was going through such dramas on a weekly basis, I would say weekly basis because mostly it was happening on Saturdays, Sundays there for something different other than just money. If you're coming from a family where everything is settled and no drama, don't think that it's always that way. There's a lot of challenges. So many people are going through stuff in families. So don't think that this stuff are skits. No, if they were skits, I wouldn't have been bringing them here. You can clearly tell there are people who have such content. They come and act, they have pranks, they have those kind of stuff. But these are real content. They aren't skits at all. Reality. So don't think they're skits. And if you're not a non-African and you might be going through this, don't feel left out. I am speaking about Black people, Africans, because they're the ones who are raising such issues on the internet. But if you are non-African, non-Black, just from everywhere in the world, and you're going through such things, don't feel left out in the conversation. You're welcome to share your thoughts in the comment section. We are learning from each other, and I appreciate you who are also going through stuff like this, and you are feeling free to share. I appreciate you guys. Let's keep interacting with the content. I will let you listen to the few stitches that I put together and enjoy the rest.
Okay, so I want to talk about the fixation that Black parents have on making their kids pay rent.
I'm glad somebody brought it up because I've been wanting to talk about this for a hot minute. I was 15 when I got my first job. I worked at Steak and Shake. I was a waitress. Now, mind you, before that, I was always a hustler. When I was 8, 9, 10 years old, I used to shovel snow for $10 a driveway. And one year, I literally paid for my own school clothes just by doing that. Always wanted my own money, always wanted to be independent. My mom didn't like that. She was very jealous of that for some reason. And I think it was the fact that I didn't need her, didn't want to come to her for anything. So when I got my first job, I was a waitress at Steak and Shake. I was making bank because look at this face. And I have a great personality. I made really good tips. My mom would not give me a ride to or from work unless I gave her gas money. Mind you, I lived in a small town. Everything was 10 minutes away from each other. You barely burned any type of gas going anywhere. And she used to make me and my brother give her $25 a week. $25 a week? I'm 15 years old. You mean to tell me all these years you never could get by without this $25 a week I was giving you? And the way she would ask for it would be like Don Corleone or like The Godfather or something. She would come to me like, you got that $25? Like, girl, the past 15 years, you wasn't getting by without this $25? Like, why are you asking me for money? Like, you gonna starve or something if I don't give you money. I remember one time she had a cold sore on her bottom lip. So I started laughing at her when she asked me for the money. And it wasn't because I was being disrespectful. It's because I was watching the cold sore like bounce on her lip like that. But I said all that to say, I remember how that made me feel as a child. It made me feel like I was a financial burden, and she didn't want to see me save up my own money and be independent and succeed. She did not once tell me she was proud of me for hustling and getting my own job. I used to have to like take the bus in the rain and the snow and the cold just because I wanted to save that little $5 that she would make me give her just for taking me back and forth to work. I feel like if your child is not one of those spoiled kids who just wants everything handed to them, you should want to help them. You should want to help them save. She didn't help me open up my own bank account. I had to do all of that on my own. And I think the young lady in the video I stitched was absolutely right. There's a fixation and a fascination and a jealousy attached to a lot of Black parents making their underage kids pay rent in a house that they've had to pay rent for the whole duration of their lives. As I hold my child right now, I could never, I would never, I will never. 2 weeks after he was born, I added him as beneficiary to all of my accounts, my high yield savings account, my life insurance, my 401ks. I'm about to open him up a 529 savings account that can roll over into a Roth if he decides to forego college. And guess what? When he gets a job, anything he makes and put in the banks, mama's gonna double it. I'm setting my baby up for life.
When you start teaching people how to critically think for themselves and reason for themselves, you start realizing how deep apartheid and these different slave trades played in the mental oppression of Black people. You truly see how Black people cannot reason for themselves, they cannot think, they cannot comprehend, and they're not intellectual beings because of how they were conditioned to think, believe, view life, and how to view themselves. To a point where I'm starting to realize that Black people love slavery. Black people love to be slaves. Black people love to have breadcrumbs in the system. Black people love to suffer. Black people love poverty. And as much as we might come here onto this platform and teach Black women to awaken, take back their power, and finally know who they are, you truly realize that these bitches love this shit. Y'all truly love this. And I'm just there turn the lights off.
Let's talk about it. There are people on this planet whose sole reason for having children is so the kids could do things that they were too lazy to do themselves. And the children have quite literally no other choice but to listen to the parent, because the parent is an authority figure. The children are living under the parent's roof, and if they say no, the parent can call it disrespect and beat the shit out of them for it. Your children are not there to just do tasks for you that you don't want to do yourself. You lazy, incompetent, abusive, sorry excuse for a parent. This actually ties into a theory that I've made a couple of videos about in the past called the cycle of abuse, which I can make another video about for my new people out there, just in case y'all are curious about it. Because this shit, using your children as basically slaves in their own house, has been happening for decades, centuries, generations. Our grandparents did it to our parents did it to us. They expect us to do that to our kids, and that's where we stop it.
I feel like African parents, especially immigrant traditional African parents, have a way of making the parent-child relationship so incredibly transactional. It's frustrating. Usually it's they'll give you something, and that something to me is usually the bare minimum. They won't kill you and they'll help you survive, but their expectation for you is incredibly high, to the point where it's they don't call you and it's fine, but if you don't call them, then it's a big issue. And usually from my personal experience, it usually comes with threats of taking away that bare minimum thing that they're doing for you, to get you to do what they want you to do. And also in my personal experience, it's God help you if they give you any type of monetary help, because you are never living it down. Your expectations just went up from 100% to 200%. And with little respect, you're going to get little respect back. And it's been interesting to me in a sort of reckoning, because my siblings and I are getting to an age where we're growing out of the need to depend on our parent for certain things that they are giving us. And that comes with no longer feeling the need to adjust our behavior to accept disrespect from our parents, or accept being treated less than just because, I'm helping you with school. I paid you to go to school. I help you pay $100 towards your rent, or I help give you $50 for your books, or anything like that. We're getting to a point where we can take care of ourselves and we no longer need that. And it's just like causing such a very strange imbalance almost, where I'm watching my parent try and deal with the fact that this is something they can no longer hold over their kids' heads anymore. And it's so interesting because I truly feel like they don't know what to do. It's like they've based their entire like power over their children based on this, and now that we are no longer susceptible to it, they don't know how to assert dominance over us anymore. I filed my taxes this year, and usually I don't have to, but I had to this year, and my school gives me like a certain form that I give to my parent over the past couple of years, and this form has been letting them get a certain tax break that I didn't know about, nor did I care. But because I had to file my taxes and use that form for myself, they could no longer benefit from me monetarily by getting that tax break. And let's just say because they gave me a certain amount towards my rent, I am essentially cut the fuck off. I am cut off. Got a very angry text message basically being like, look how much you cost me because you decided to file your own taxes. And it's like, were you helping me for the tax break? Because maybe I'm 24. It was gonna end at some point.
So I was just watching this woman's video, and she was talking about how a family member came to visit her and I guess saw how well she was living, like took a look at everything she had in her nice place or whatever. And she said slowly but surely she felt like she started to become their piggy bank. They started asking her for money, basically feeling like, you got it, you the one with all the money. I think it is incredibly sad when you have people in your family that try to take advantage of the success that you have. It's like when we talked about the whole Gabrielle Union thing with the interview and her talking about how she and her husband go 50-50. She mentioned in that video that she and Dwayne both have separate households that they're taking care of. Why are y'all taking care of other households? It's one thing if it's like a parent, if it's your mom, your dad. As long as I have a house, my mother will never be homeless. But when you're talking about cousins, brothers, uncles, like just everybody else in the family just having their hands out, that's really cruel. It's like, it's emotional abuse. It's taking advantage of people. It's using them. Family or not, family members can be some of the biggest users out there. And I hate the idea that there are some parents out here who use their children like their retirement plan. You take care of them, and then as soon as they start to get a little money, you got your hand out and you expect them to take care of you for the rest of your life to pay them back for raising you. I feel like that's so cruel. Like, if you're the one who decided to have these children, so why do they, as soon as they get any monochrome of success, have to pay you, have to pay your rent, have to pay your car note? Like, why would you set yourself up to be a burden to your own children? I say that as a mother myself with 3 kids. I never want to be a burden to my kids. I always want to be self-sufficient, or for me to give them more things. I'm trying to secure generational wealth for my family. Last thing I'm trying to do is pull away from what they have. Long time ago, when I was in the army, I had a friend who was Haitian, and I remember we were making the same amount of money. We were both around the same age, but she was always broke and I always had money. And at one point I was like, girl, how are you always broke? We make the same amount of money. And she said that she had to send money back to New York to her mother and her brother and like all these different family members. And I remember one time she bought herself a car and her mother was furious. Because the mother said, if you bought yourself a new car, how can you afford to send us the money that you're sending us? She couldn't even buy herself her own car. Like, the parents out there or the family members out there that see other family members as a piggy bank, you are leeches. You are leeches. They shouldn't have to be punished because they have achieved success. That's one thing if it's a parent. Like, yeah, you should definitely look out for your parent. But even then, that has its limits. When it's digging into your own finances, where you're drowning, you're stressed. A millionaire like Gabrielle Union should not be stressed about somebody not being able to eat, and everybody we talking about is grown. Like, y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. Just weigh in.
Just before I let you listen to this clip right here, but unfortunately I will have to speak as it's going on because it has some background noise. But she mentioned something very important. There's a proverb in Africa that believes, I don't want to state the proverb because I don't know how it goes, but that believes that when one person has gotten it in life, when one person is rich, it means that the whole family is saved. So if you have that one rich person in your family in Africa, it means that you will be the one taking care of the whole family. And I don't know, if you have to combat this so that even corruption can end, because anytime when someone has gotten into power, they start with their families first. They start with like finding places in the government for their family members, and this corruption goes on, and you'll find incompetent people being in position. Like this thing goes all the way to the system, how it operates and everything. For Black Americans, I don't know how you can translate this, but that's how I look at it. There's this communal life of that we love, that we appreciate. We love our culture. That's always we have to share things. We have things in common. Yes, it's good, but how do we help people to also kind of have boundaries in everything that they do? Like, how can we have boundaries and understand that you are questionable to one family that you have to take care of, without having people think that you are being selfish? Yeah, that's my point.
I'm getting ready to head to work, but I've been getting tagged on this video, so I woke up this morning and still being tagged on it, so I'm going to give my 2 cents about it.
She went on to share an experience of herself. She went on to say first that we are in a society that believes that the only way to make it in life is to work a 9-to-5 job, which is where that girl started from, why she spoke of colonization in the mind. We are colonized to the point that that we can only work 9-to-5 jobs to be able to provide. And that's why you'd hear statements where the mother was saying, we work to spend the money, but you don't work to buy shit. Well, the girl was really trying to do that for business. So the girl came and her daughter came to her and said, I need nails. And then she said, how are you going to get nails? You're still young and I don't have money, And then the girl said, what if I work for the money? Will I get the nails if I work for the money? The girl, when they went to the store, she bought sweets in the store. Her daughter, she bought the sweet and she started selling the sweets. That's how she started her business. And right now, she's making good money. She got the nails. She's saving. And the mother now took her to the journey of saving the money. You can see how she's saving her money. She knows how to package. So now she's selling snacks in school and, all those stuff that she's selling. You see, she has helped her daughter because she understood what the daughter was trying to mean, you see, and she's saving her money. You can see how she's saving the money and she's doing it. And she said, I'm not going to stop my daughter because by the time she's 20, she will be a millionaire. And the child is only 11-year-old. So what are you waiting for? If you're a parent with such a mentality, yes, it's good to work. That's what we are taught, and that's what our parents expect. When you go to school, we'll get yourself a job and work, But sometimes I feel like we have to reach the point of even letting our children do the way they want to do. Like, yes, they have worked. If a child has worked, can you give them the freedom of trying something with their money? If they want to sell something, I have no idea. I have no problem with how the parent has addressed the issue. Maybe she has her own reasons, but what's wrong with investing the money, growing the money that you are earning? Is that not a good skill to teach a child? How can you expand your income than just pay rent? So we live paycheck after paycheck. We get the salary, we spend. So the child was even thinking ahead, and I'm so sorry to see that a parent can think that way. You've not paid, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how the story continued, but I just wanted us to learn something from that. Yeah, what are your 2 cents on this? Leave in the comment section. You are free to share your thoughts. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe. Until we meet again, goodbye for now, and stay tuned for more.